that's another reason I would say that. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Brad. Go ahead, please.
Oh, I was saying that's another kind of reason. Like for me, as someone who's grown up around here, it's like the energy of. It's not that I don't like where I live or anything like that, but a lot of good people here. But as far as like the, well, for example, I'm kind of like the idea of a cabin up in the mountains or in the woods or something like that. Eventually, I've got teenagers though right now still in school, so that's all a ways off. But I'm not I used to enjoy being in the city and things like this, but as I've gotten older, the hustle and bustle, not so much. Well, because going back to kind of like a lot of times we talk about, right? Genuine connection. And James, you talking about being at a concert and not finding enough consciousness and things like that. Yeah, it's different things appealing to me.
Yeah.
On another note, you also mentioned changing your PIN to
right
your financial situation. How about I woke up this morning and I got a notification from my bank about a suspicious charge. I have no choice. They're sending me a new card and I'm going to have to change my PIN. So.
Yeah, that's funny.
That was you, right? You put that fraudulent charge on my card, right?
Yep. Yeah, I probably did that. I got to watch my tongue sometimes. It's pretty dangerous. So
you said some type of spirit shopper, like going into Walmart trying to like buy like, $500 and I don't know what, but yeah, your spirit shopper, James. Yeah, that was a good way to get Brad to do that. That's really inspiring, I have to say.
Yeah, do it.
And then he correctly called me out for being a coward just a little bit ago, because I will admit that's when I reflect on sort of my choices that because I have embraced poverty. I'll just be honest. And and yes, you can justify it all sorts of ways you want to, but a lot of it is, when you get right down to the root of it, is sort of an application like that one. For example, when I stopped filing a tax return in 2009, it was because I felt impotent to do anything to affect what I felt like, was the government, the system, doing things I didn't agree with. And it was like, that was kind of, you know what I'm saying, a gesture of saying, I'm trying not to interact with this thing, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But of course, as I said, I mentioned the other day that sort of like the negative reaction I get sort of from family and my dad in particular about not towing the line. But that is what's funny, is because I still pay taxes. The tax still comes out of my check. We still, pay sales tax.
Sure.
So it's actually, in principle, I still pay all the tax.
Yeah.
I just don't file the tax.
Well, this is morality, really. This is what morality would look like. Oh, that's weird. It would have to look hard like this. It's never going to be easy. We have this idea that morality is like you're cheered on. You're still really roughing it, but everyone's like really cheering you on. And the only time you really make morality is when people that you love are losing respect for you every minute, like sand, right? Like in the hourglass, like every minute more respect is being lost, and that you are still holding true to that. That's where all of your building of your psyche takes place. It all takes place right there. That's where it all happens. So we don't know that. No one is telling us that that's how it works. So the idea of going to the gym and it hurting our muscles is, we're like, what the fuck? Why does this hurt? Clearly I'm doing this wrong. Clearly this isn't right. And we don't have in the culture that lesson that, no, dude, it's supposed to hurt. You're supposed to pick this up until you're like, I don't like this. Like that's how you do it. And it's such a backwards thing because of all the fairy tales, right? All the fairy tales. But if you remember the lesson of Mercury is a white cord in, a white snake in, and a black snake out. And neither one of them have the truth. The medicine is in you being conscious through both processes. So you buy the story of the white completely. You accept it in to subcutaneously. You insert the information into you. You swallow it whole. You go through grades 1 through 12 to swallow it whole. Then you go through the dark grades, the grades that you don't graduate from, the grades that you don't have a diploma on the wall. And most people have already dropped out of school because they've gotten to grade 12 and they're like, we're done now. But you're not done. You've only just begun. The 13th grade is the black grade. The 14th grade is the darker shade of black grade. 15th grade is the darker shade of black grade, right? And no one's giving you a GPA. No one's testing you. No one's holding you back even. This is what makes it so hard and so awful. No one is telling you you didn't do this well enough. I need you to try harder. No one is giving you shame because you didn't do your homework. This is perilous black desert. Most of us could not handle this place. And so we don't. So truly the mercury, the medicine, it's everything. It's your spine. It's everything. The afferent nerves, right, form a triangle in your spine, and the afferent nerves fill the other triangle in your spine. One goes up, one goes down. It's so megaphonically true. You're not getting away from it. And the Jews are everywhere because they know the symbolism. They hold the symbolism too, just like anyone else. They gather to the light of, oh, this resonates. Why do they know that it resonates more? Why am I going off on the Jews now? I don't know. But why do they know it resonates more? Because they broke sooner. They cracked sooner. They stopped looking at praise. They stopped being praised. And they took the path of Cain faster. We gave them all our usury. We gave them all of the scapegoating that we needed to blame them on things. And they said, hey, I can use this. They were the first ones that said, I can take this dung and build a new world. And we're trying to catch up, you know.
Did they stop being witness?
Yes. I think that's a part of it. They would have to feel, let me rephrase this. They believed that they had stopped being witnessed. You see?
Or didn't care, maybe.
It's very different, isn't it? They believed that they were stopped being witnessed. That's really what happened. They believed that. And so it happens, and so it did. It's all they have to do is believe it. And when you read the Old Testament, let's just say the Jews are Cain and everyone else is Abel, just so I can just put you in the right tennis court for this. So Cain feels rebuked. He wasn't rebuked, but he feels rebuked. So same thing happened with, hey, Isaac, we need you to fucking kill your son. He's like, oh, okay. There's the test. He failed the test because he said, okay. God didn't say, I'm going to punish you. God's not trying to make him learn. God knows he's perfect. God is checking in to see where he's at. This is what you have to do. You have to see the people that do not see it yet. You have to see the destruction of their fascism, and you have to smile because you trust the garden completely. You're like, oh, yeah, you're going to probably, oh, look at that. You just took an innocent person and blamed him for all your problems. Oh, look at that. There's another billionaire. Oh, look, you're burning his yacht.
Yes.
What's going to happen when that billionaire wakes up and watches what you did? How much ridicule does he have left? This is what I mean. The emperor is the only one in the room that could afford to spend ridicule to make you grow. He's the only person. And if he has the ability to spend ridicule to make you grow, wouldn't he do that? Like, isn't that what it means to be rich? You're always, the extravagant is always the only way out. There's not like the French aristocrats don't have like a bonsai tree. They have a fucking 18-acre garden. Nothing else would satisfy them. They wouldn't feel like they were doing it at that point. They need chess pieces the size of people. They want to say bishop humps queen, and they want to watch the bishop run over to the queen and start humping her on the ground, because that's how billionaires play chess, because that's how much their limbic depth is. That's how much they need. So,
do you think that burning their yacht forces them to believe something, and even then they suspend their belief? How does belief work in there? So
I think that we have to respect that it's quite possible that the yachts could have been, yes, this is a tricky one, all right? Because you have to think Bill Gates is sort of like purposely saying things that are kind of insanely crazy sometimes. Like, you have to look at him that way, which means you're making him more clever than you want to. And this is very difficult ground. But if you can do that, if you can play with that, you might be able to look at the billionaire yacht burning as, I'm going to set my own yacht on fire, and I'm going to watch how no one says stop.
Right.
I'm going to show the world that no one says stop.
Kind of like LA burning.
Well,
Yes.
I
Yeah, that
kind
too.
of think that the whole billionaire burning thing kind of falls into that Stoicism thing that you read earlier. Um, and that one of the great Stoic philosophers, Seneca, said that poverty is a state of mind, not a lack of material possessions, and that a rich man must want to detach himself from his possessions in order to actually be rich, and a poor man must master himself without financial resources. That the man who, what makes a man, and I say man, I mean people in general, what makes a man wealthy is having what they have and not desiring more. Whereas the man who always wants more is going to be poor.
Yeah, it's a different dog. It's a different motor, is really what it is. The grades 1 through 12, you need the motor of, I want to graduate, I want to get a diploma, I want to have a tassel on my head, I want to wear the hat of Saturn, I want other people to go, oh my God, you're smart. I want people to say, here's a comma in my paycheck because I did all this work. The other part of that is that these things are meaningless, they're fraudulent, they're stupid, they're retarded. This is just what the other side of the hill looks like. This is exactly what you're supposed to see. You're exactly supposed to see this. And you learn how expensive it is to go on the other side. Why would you want to leave the hill? You fought this hard to be king of the hill. Why are you leaving now? Mel just typed and she nailed it. A billionaire doesn't care about money. The billionaire collects people. And it's witness. The billionaire collects witness. But it's not in a, think about it. Think about how satisfying it would feel to know that this court person is telling you how beautiful you look when you just showed them your ass cheeks and said, do you like my new pants? And he said yes. From the moment you learn that, how valuable is his praise? From that moment on, the praise is meaningless. It is devoid of flavor. It has zero nutrition. You're going to starve because you're surrounded by nutritionless witness. This is why I'm telling you, Kronos cut the cord. He did it because he was suffocating. The emperor needs witness because the emperor has a body too. And this is where you got to trust the power of the body. Because when you see this, you understand, I swear to you, you understand that it would be impossible to stay at the top and enjoy your body if you were not tapping into your symbiotics. If you are emperor and you are symbiotic, you have a golden responsibility as the gardener. Your job, you love this fucking job, guys. Seriously. You love this job because it's the only thing that feeds you. I swear to fuck, this is the only consciousness that you're going to be able to drink from, is you're going to fool all of the plants into growing regardless. You're going to prune them. You're going to come in with clippers that are sharp as fuck. And you're going to clip a branch. And the second you clip the branch, that tree is going to hate you. It's going to it's going to go, you fucking piece of shit. What did you fucking do? You're fucking crazy. I'm bleeding. Where's my fucking arm? This is fucking terrorism. And you're going to erupt and you're going to create all of this menagerie about the evils of the gardener. And you're going to have this whole spooky vision of what the gardener does because there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. There's absolutely nothing you can do but just trauma. And when you cut a plant, you're just looking at trauma. But trauma is a goo. Trauma is a cocoon. You guys know that.
Yeah.
So who would have the righteousness to fucking disperse trauma? Requires a very, very potent posture from a very potent gardener that quite frankly has the appetite to feel and taste all ridicule and it be meaningless. So the master gardener is pruning the branches as they're yelling at it, calling it evil, and enjoying the fact that how much growth is happening through all this terror and trauma. This is the great work. It's called the great work because no one is going to applaud. No one is going to reward you.
And you'll be hated for it.
You will be hated if you do it well. If you do it well, you will be able to instill terror and fear everywhere you go, even though you're the cowboy that when no one else is looking, you're the one that goes to the fence because the sheep got caught on the barbed wire and has been starving for 12 fucking hours, and you're the one that pulls them off, and not a fucking sheep is going to thank you. They're going to say you did it. They're going to say you're the one that talked the sheep into going over there. You're the one that tricked him. That sheep is perfect. How dare you? So this is a metaconsciousness because you are interacting with a human that is not consciously aware of you. The hidden hand is a spiritual tool. It's a spiritual tool that you invoke on your own children, on your own dog. There are mice in my house. If I got a cat, they'd be gone. I don't want to get a cat because I don't know why I have a beef with mice, so I've let them go. It's kind of getting out of hand, but I'm still okay with it. I'm okay with it because I'm witnessing what it feels like to have this kind of responsibility. I'm witnessing the Pied Piper aspect because I caught one of the mice had fallen too far into this box of peanuts. The peanuts are for the crows. I don't mind the mouse eating a peanut. Why? Because I'm rich as fuck. I have so many peanuts. I've got peanuts coming out the wazoo. I've got a 40-pound bag of peanuts. Do you understand? I'm a billionaire. I'm a billionaire, and a mice sees this one half of the peanut. Is like, I will be living in a castle for the rest of the night. For the next 4 days, we will be fucking snorting this peanut dust behind the closet and having a party. I will have new mates. My children will praise me if I can get this peanut home. This is a metaconsciousness, right? Do I kill the mouse? No, because I'm rich. I'm rich. The mouse poses no threat to me. So I take the burlap bag and I place it in the box so that the mouse can feel that it created its own way out. I wasn't going to stick a glass in there, cover the mouse, put my hand over it, then stare at the mouse. Or God forbid, take pictures of it and put it on YouTube and say, look at this fucking mouse. Ah, I love it. See how nice I'm being to it? Meanwhile, the mouse is just in terror. It's just in trauma. It's in trauma because my clipper blade wasn't sharp. It's in trauma because the selfishness of my tarnishedness made that blade really edgy, which means when I try and make that cut, it bruises and the trauma just gets out of hand. It's not a clean cut. It's not a clean prune. You're supposed to have a sword. You're supposed to feel righteousness. You're supposed to keep it sharp. You're supposed to make a clean cut every time you're going to exercise morality. And until you're ready to swing that sword, you're going to feel like a bitch. You're going to feel like a weakling. You're going to feel like a coward because that's how you train. This is how you build the circuitry of righteousness. Every single person's going to tell you you're wrong. It's the only way.
I love that, James. It's kind of like you have to outbend yourself a little bit. I know when there are moments when I'm definitely thinking I want to take an action or say a thing, and it feels really intense. It's like, oh man, if I say this, who knows what will happen? But if the urge is there, it's that instinctual urge that sometimes things come out of your mouth you don't even intend to say, but they're just exactly right. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh my goodness, so that channel is so powerful. It kind of overrides you.
Yeah.
And I think that's when the caw comes in, when you're really aligned with your inner I amism, you know what I mean? And then you really just, that posture just starts to build.
Absolutely.
And it's really powerful to see that happen over time. Go ahead, Brad.
Sorry. No, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just saying I appreciate those moments because they are authentic. Like, you don't have time to think about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's what the too much of the time spent thinking, like you said, outside of how someone is going to react to you and things like that. It's like every second you spend in that is in a way inauthentic because you're measuring it against, how people will react.
Yep.
We've gotten better about not doing that. But like you say, you have to practice that for a long time, I think, to
Yeah.
really get to a point where you genuinely, well, because too, I think it's the mistakes you make along the way of sometimes unintentionally hurting somebody by through ignorance of your word, of my word or action. You know what I'm saying? Like where my intent, the result did not match the intent.
Yeah. And I think that's why we need to let go of consciousness, of being of being conscious of our actions. The laws differentiates. Well, did you do it on purpose? Because if you did it on purpose, I'm going to punish you. But if you didn't do it on purpose, then it's going to be less of a punishment. And I'm okay with this, but it shows you where we're at. It just shows you where we are at collectively, you know. And if you can, it's okay to have that because okay, I'm justifying my own life, Brad. But seriously, I'm going to justify it in front of you because it might help me justify my own life, pretending to justify yours. But here's what I mean: as a writer, I hit publish before I know that the article is done, because the second I hit publish, I feel the guilt. Today I misspelled clothes. I had Emperor's New Cloths spelled that way for 3 hours before I noticed it. And the shame of that is the only reason why I was able to catch that I had misspelled that. I'm just being honest. It's only the shame of I felt someone. Here's what I think happened. I wish you could see my face so you'd know I'm sincere. I'm sincere as fuck right now, okay? Even though you can't see my face because I have to broadcast this, I am sincere as fuck when I say this. That shame quotient, that is your ka. That is the electrical telepathy that I'm able to sense from another ka under the mud who just saw that I misspelled clothes, and they were kind enough to judge me for it. That in their mind, in their telepathic mind, they saw that there was an upcoming stream called The Emperor's New Cloths, and they were like, what a fucking idiot. And them calling me a fucking idiot was a sacrifice that they were giving me. I want you to hear it because they feel better because they made a sacrifice, the sacrifice of judging me, of sending me the pellets that I needed to hear as it plinks up against my dashboard that says, you deserve, here's some shame. And because I know my cockpit, I'm like, okay, we've got a shame at 6 o'clock. Okay, what's wrong? And then I look at my HUD and I'm like, okay, where's the shame? Where's this? Oh my God, Emperor's New Cloths. Holy shit. I am so embarrassed. And I fix it. None of that would have happened had I not have hit publish. So it's like I'm sacrificing the very first people that read my articles. I already know. It's like, you were lost. I'm sorry. You're going to miss at least a paragraph and a half of my writing. Sorry, but you're just going to have to take one for the team because I need you to be the instrument of this. I'm saying this because I want you to remember that the if you really want to track how you're doing, if you're emotionally feeling superior about something, first of all, I want you to properly bathe in the glory of that win. It's very important that you properly drink that. You take a victory lap. You do not pretend that you don't need it. This is very important that you do this. But I also want you to see that even though it feels good, chronically speaking, you are actually feeding the loser. You are giving the loser intel. You're giving them wisdom into why they lost. It's the same thing that someone says when they're like, oh, what a fucking idiot, Emperor wears no clothes. They had to judge me harshly for it to propagate all the way back to me. For my telepathic field to feel it, it had to have enough limbic torque. So I need the people that are out to get me, that are out to kind of like throw something in my face. I need them more because my telepathy is weaker, and I need that kind of torque to feel it. I swear this is true, what I'm telling you. I swear this is how it works, which is why when you start to sense critique, this is why I call it awake. I don't mean awake like when people die and everyone's happy. I'm talking about beneath the, behind your boat. It's that empty vacuum that you don't see water, but that's where all the power is. That's where all the flow is. You're going super fast because you have that now. So that vacuum you feel, that sunken feeling of no one likes me because I lost, that sunken feeling that the victor, hopefully, if you're lucky, the victor's rubbing it in your face.
So you had to circle back to your wake. You left a wake. You were far in the future. You were beyond cloth. And then someone said, or maybe you noticed, fuck, cloth.
Yeah,
My
you look
wake.
back. I
My
don't
back.
even know if I need to circle back. It maybe, I mean, maybe that's a way of doing it. It's more
You
of like,
corrected it, though.
this is how, yeah, definitely. Although, so I'm not trying to be picky, but maybe I'm not correcting it because it was never wrong. Maybe this is just the process.
Right.
Maybe this is just how the motor, that's why I'm kind of pushing against you about circling back. This is actually part of the propulsion. There's a horizon line that's not an exact point. It's a phased effect from liftoff to now you're in space. There's at some point everyone's just kind of agree, but it's not really like tangible where that place is. It's a gradient. I'm going to sneeze. So we want if you think about what politeness is, thank you. If you think about what politeness is, we are denying each other of our prana. The same way we don't take victory laps is the same way that we don't take gnosis. We're not willing to drink because we're learning the definition of perfection. I think some of the deepest brain damage that I suffered was noticing the difference between my mom's definition of perfection and my definition of perfection. It really just broke me because I couldn't understand why she didn't define perfection the same way I did. And that's not her, that's her culture. That's what the plant does. When the plant is 3 inches tall, perfection means I will not make a mistake. And if I do make a mistake, I cannot afford to see it, which means I don't make mistakes. And I'm just going to keep going because I don't make mistakes. Because I don't make mistakes.
So that's the perfection you speak of.
Well, this is how the perfection leaves the soil and finds the sun. But once you're in the soil, you have enough light now. You know where up is. You can start to perfect what your definition of perfection means. So the definition of perfection would change to mean I see all my mistakes and they're not. Whew. I see all mistakes. That's one, and they are not. That's two.
Right, because that's the thing. If you don't notice you made the mistake, I don't think you're even aware. Well, it's like anything. For example, if you haven't done something or whatever vice to this, you don't know what it is until you've been there. In other words, so it's like if you've never seen a mistake you've made, I don't even think you're aware of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because you're not looking at it.
Yeah, you're not conscious yet. You're still doing things. You can still kill people. Yeah. You can still rescue people. You can still be president. You can still be king of the mountain, but you're not conscious yet. This is why I'm saying consciousness is really kind of overrated in a law and justice kind of. I'm talking about that kind of consciousness where you're aware of something. You will do more unaware. The artist is a verb. Right. The artist is a verb. I sent this band to Renee of these people in New Orleans that I sent it because it felt like these people weren't actually people. We accuse musicians of being sort of reeds in the wind that just kind of play whatever the public wants, and they have their politics that's kind of real superficial, and they're always on the popular side. But this is actually what a reed does. A reed is made to create noise in the wind. So the wind is the thing that dictates who they are. And in this video of this band playing it, you're looking at people that aren't really themselves. They're wearing the costume of Fandango. They're wearing the costume of things that are popular, maybe in the 40s, maybe in the 50s. And they're doing it all on a stage, and they're playing the same kind of riffs. It's amazing. Please don't hear me wrong. You got to hear me right on this. It's, in fact, because we're on Zoom. Oh, actually, I can't show it to you guys. Sorry. But it's, if you want to just get a taste of it, I'm not even trying to say the music is great, although I fucking love it. But I want you to know that if you watch this video, you're watching people that have learned the notes of gender. I'm a clarinet player as a gender, guys. It's a quirky kind of way of being alive. And clarinet players are going to be different than trombone players. It's permission to be something that's not a man or a woman, but still have a life. And this is what I mean by I'm saying we have to be ready to move into genderism and fully understand what it means, because it's more profound than we think. And I would even argue with you that before we were identity, we were actually genders, because our last name was a gender. I am the Smith. I am the Baker. I am the Jones, right? Barnaby Jones. Like, first of all, cool fucking name. But like, second of all, this is Barnaby. And Barnaby's not a man yet. He's actually a Jones first. Because the Jones can have males or females as children. It's only once he's born that he also notices there's this other mode, this sexuality too. Sex is still there. All we've done is added a different spectrum right on top of it, but right below job, that just says gender. That's all we've done. We've added an orange that didn't used to be there before. We've added a violet that didn't used to be there before. It's another shade of color that's giving you a broader resolution for people to justify what they've already done, which basically is have this two-axis sort of identity where some people want to be soldiers, but they're females. Some people want to be florists and they're males, right? When I was in high school, I took an aptitude test and it said, you should be a florist. And I was like insulted. I was like, what? A florist? What? What?
You missed your calling, James.
What the fuck is this? And I was completely blown away by this in a not good way, because of society's inability to add that extra color. Do you see my point? That's it. That really is it. When I was in theater is some of the most creative places that you can go. You're painting sets, you're applying lights, you're trying to sell tickets, you're marketing posters. Seriously, there's like every fucking aspect of it is just this creative mosh pit, where honestly the last thing that has room to fit is let's go start a family. It's like the antithesis of let's start a family. You're in the circus. You're in the carnival. This is good energy, guys. I like this energy. And we need this energy, I think, to come back, because so many things, so much of our ion channels were open because the carnival came to town. A bunch of fucking weirdos got off. They only needed $7 a day. To them, a single peanut was like fucking gold. They did meth. They did crazy shit in the parking lot. You had no idea if this ride was even going to stay a ride through this whole thing, and you felt alive. You kissed girls. You got married at the carnival. You created your entire future based on what you saw in the carny's face, and you didn't have to agree with his life. You had to see, could I afford to do that? Can I afford to go into that kind of world and enter into flow? This is probably paganism. It's probably the last bastion of a sort of an animistic life would be the street musician. It would be the carny. And I think this is coming back, by the way. I think that the collapse of COVID-19 is not a collapse. It is the clearing away for a new type of growth, and it's going to look like this. It already does. There are genres of Pokemon collectors that are creating Pokemon fiction. And it's a giant, huge canopy that you and I may never go, but there it is. And these are everywhere. You have people that are building Star Wars living rooms, and they're having millions of views on YouTube because they painted their living room to look like the Millennium Falcon. That's a very specific, very, very niche thing, but yet it still thrives and grows. Why does it thrive and grow? Because the great work motherfuckers said, what if we each had an IP address? Mm-hmm. What if we each had a centralized place where our imagination could meet? How can we call the controllers fucking evil? Look at what they did. Yeah. Look at what has been made, because I am less crazy than I've ever been in my entire life. Thanks to this mycelium.
That point.
Me too. I can certainly say I felt less crazy over the years than back when first sort of you take that first step off. Because like that's another funny thing about watching the world as it's grown, and the fact that I would guess when a lot of us first looked at our first quote unquote conspiracy theory or whatever, not like that, but started looking outside the box, the only people that were aware of them were the people who were there. looking into them, like
Yeah.
the world at large wasn't aware of it, and to watch over time how all these things now, it's not whether people believe it or not, but everybody knows them. Like everybody's heard of everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now when you talk about Epstein, it's like, to me, that's the aspect of it moving to the mainstream where, well, the fact that believing in the deep state is now somewhat mainstream
Yes.
for a lot of folks,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it would have to be a sign of progress, no? Like seriously,
Right.
the good guys are fucking in charge. And I don't even need you to have a fantasy about. I want you to know what a good guy is. The dude that comes in the village and says, "Hey, lady, I want to have sex with you," and she's like, "Okay, you're the good one," which means you're powerful. It's like, I'm just telling you, this is how it works. This is the original meaning of good. This is the definition of good that society doesn't want to admit, is the one that can walk in. It's Elon Musk is good because he's the only one that has enough prana that he can say, I want to look in Fort Knox. I've wanted to look in Fort Knox for years. This isn't his fucking idea. But he's the guy that's good. Why do I have to give that to him? Because I know how nature works. I have to give that to him. I also can understand what it took for him to do that. And what it feels like to wake up. I swear to you, that guy wakes up hollow. I swear to fuck, he wakes up hollow. He's told so many lies. He's bullshitted so much. He has to travel faster than the speed of sound, because if he doesn't, the sound's going to catch up. I'm telling you, that is one of the most pained persons you're going to see, which is why he's going so far. This is why he's doing so well. I see a difference between him and Trump. Trump uses people that are on that addict level. Bannon and Musk are actually really the same. Both of them were telling stories at the speed of light. And Trump knew how to say, I will take you. I will use you for my cause. You will not see what's going to happen to you. And I think Musk is going to, it'll take a while. None of us are going to enjoy it. It's not going to be like an Epstein. But Musk will suffer. He is suffering. He will pay for these lies. But it will never be in a public, clean way where all of us feel better. I swear to you, it will not be that way. It will be something else because of how effective it is to create shoots like Musk. These shoots shoot up out of the garden, and quite frankly, the fact that all of us think we can walk on the moon is exactly what you would want divines to believe so that they will grow. They're reaching for the stars, and they need liars to do it. We send these liars up. We give them nutrition. This is why I'm telling you, you have to remember that progress is actually not going to feel like you're being hoisted up on it. There's no progress on a pedestal. In fact, the higher you go, the scarier it gets, because the taller you are, you become completely a prisoner to gravity. And you watch their behavior because there's nowhere else to go. They can't even shoot themselves in the head. The bullets are too heavy this high. Honestly, they'd probably love it if one of you would take them out. They'd fucking love it. But they don't even have the consciousness to tell you that. It's not even like in their diet, you know? Modern, if you got something, go ahead. I'm not modding, so.
Oh, I didn't. I was going to be polite and let people do their thing, have some sort of semblance of organization here, you know, whatnot. So it's interesting with all this because I had a conversation yesterday, and I had started it on the Patreon chat about the inverse polarities of knowing and not knowing in all things. And I can't help but wonder if the path to actual salvation is to create stagnation, that the constant move forward of self-analyzing and self-improvement and feeling that across all of your lifetimes that you are not enough, that you do not have the actual power that's there, and that nothing you do will ever be enough. And so that drives us to continue to learn, to become as that and everything. And the salvation comes from the ignorance of releasing those things, of just simply existing and stopping that desire to learn. And I can't help but wonder if there is some sort of truth behind that. Because if you look at any, and you can go across any religious, philosophical, anything you want to look at across history, it's a recurring theme in there, in that by eating from that tree of knowledge that we become as gods. And the only thing that separates that is the immortality. And my question there that I wonder on that is, if by choosing to endure to learn, to continue to constantly strive to know all and to have the wisdom of what to do with that knowledge, are we in fact finding our own way to not become one with the divine, but to become a peer to the divine itself?
Well, I might want to kind of take a look at that. I mean, you knowing yourself is knowing the divine, you know, so it's more of your inner space that I believe I've been in researching, you know, and I think that we all individually have that inner exploration. So it's really going inside rather than outside, because when you're inside, you're connected to the one eye we all share. Our one peephole shares one eye. And it's the eye of the universe, God, Gaia, the GGs, however you want to say it. But so I think the seeking of knowledge outside of you is going to take you longer to get to, you know, source, your peephole. So that's kind of what I got.
I'll add, I don't think we're really separate from it. I don't really think anything is. So I really don't think that there's I think there's infinite ways to get there, if you will, you know, back to source. But I don't think that there's anything that is outside of the scope of that. And that's something that I think, being raised in sort of Baptist Christian religion like that, and all religion, but the idea of good and evil, it becomes so tough, because every time you set it up and say that, okay, there's this evil force that's fighting good, but this divine force is also all powerful and the creator of everything, therefore that evil force can't be outside of itself. And I mean, that pretty quickly you could just get to that point where you then have to use semantics to justify, okay, well then why evil, what evil? Because it certainly isn't something that just grew up on its own outside of everything there is. So I wouldn't say that any sort of pursuit of knowledge is in any way, you know, anti-divine or anti-God or anything like that. I also don't think that like the not pursuit of knowledge, like, you know, sitting meditating under a tree, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I think with everything, it does come back to you and what moves you and what gets us closer to understanding ourselves, because again, at root, I think we all are just part of the same divine thing. Yeah. And that's why I think part of this experience is what does it feel like not to know that? Yeah. You know,
this is a great, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brett. I'm sorry. I'm just so into what you're saying. I wanted to just like not forget, not add that all wonder is growth. If you're wondering something, if you're genuinely curious, not because, so you can't wonder if you're trying to memorize something because you have a test. That's not wondering. You're afraid and you're trying to regurgitate. But if you're sitting there going, I wonder what that crow's thinking. I wonder if that crow's going to pick up a cigarette. This is growth. You are exercising the flame of youth. This is true. This is like a real thing. Teenagers smoke because they have health and they're showing it off. Even if you don't have the money, if you buy new tires, you're going to leave skid marks in front of your girlfriend's house because you're showing off how youthful you are. You're showing that you can waste and mortify yourself. And this is a fountainhead. It's a kind of fountain. And who we choose to tickle their bellies with our bubbles is a way of thinking about this. I swear I'm not just trying to be poetic. If you picture that you're underwater and that you have only so much oxygen in your lungs and you've taken this so that you can go deep and you've gone with your friends and your friends look over and you're now blowing bubbles and you're like a fucking mile underwater, that's a very special communication. You're literally telling all of them how special they are because you're wasting air just on their witness. You're purposely expelling vital oxygen just so they can see. This is like a gift. Do you understand? This is the only gift that exists. It would be in every language, on every species, and every vertebrae would have this gift to give. So when you think about it that way, everything that you wonder about, you are giving the gift to Gaia. You're going to fucking die, man. Your bones, the salt is all the things that you've wondered. That salt's going to hit the ground. Cats are going to pee on it. Rain's going to come. It's going to wash into the river. All kinds of crazy shit's going to happen, but that salt's going to be there. It's going to end up in the ocean. It's going to end up in the very bottom of the ocean, and no one will ever see it again. But she will know. It's in her computer because there is a piece of grain on the bottom of the ocean that has the compressed feelings that you have when you're like, hey, I wonder if that crow's going to smoke that cigarette. The delight that you found when right after you said that, the crow picked up the cigarette and flew away would change you. It would change your family. Your grandchildren would change. Your grandparents would feel this, in their graves. They would feel something different happen. The transposons in your DNA would light up because of the serendipitous crystal that you just made appear. And it only happened because you said, I wonder if that crow will smoke that cigarette. So this is how you pick berries. Am I right? Like, this is really what it's about. So naturally pick the berries. Don't pay attention to how many you got. Simply just enjoy picking every one. It's the experience is there. It's not in, hey, I got more berries than you. It's like, they're not having fun at all, are they? They're there shaking the tree with the device they made that makes a lot of noise, that spits out smoke, but shakes the tree really fast. And they've developed this plastic roundabout thing that wraps around the tree. And so now when they shake the shit out of the tree, all the berries fall out. And meanwhile, they're not even looking. They're scratching their nuts, facing the other way, waiting for the barrel to fill. That is a lot of fucking berries, man. Look at all those berries. And we could argue about which berries taste better, but you know the fucking answer because you've gone berry picking and you've been like, fuck, that berry's tart. But it's like tart, like, oh my God, that berry's tart. I was not expecting that. And you're like trying to untartify what just happened to you. Then you grab another one and it's fucking perfect. You're like, this is the Goldilocks berry. and you're just like, what a fucking live experience. And you're like, remember that time we went berry picking 3 years ago? And dude, you've gone to the grocery store and picked up berries, what, 17.8 million times since then? Why are those berries better? They're not better. Man, a deer peed on those berries, man. Fucking peed all over them. And the deer was like having a rough day, too. It wasn't even like a happy, innocent deer. You know, it was a real dickhole deer, by the way. He's like done a lot of bad things to a lot of people, you know?
Oh, James.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have to do a little bragging about Northwest Turtle Island strawberries. They are absolutely the deepest flavor. Nothing compares. I'm going to brag about that. Another thing I want to kind of go back to and talk about, I was thinking today about news, and that's past tense, right? So how about nows? You know, when we talk about the now of saying the thing in your mind right then and there to not waste time and be haunted that you didn't say it, or like wondering what they are thinking because you didn't say that one thing. It's just such a waste of precious time in Aquarius. I think you get really adamant about that. And especially as me, myself, having a different undercarriage than half of the population, there's a certain amount of, if you've had children, you kind of know there's a point when you're pregnant, and definitely through menopause, which I say menopause or menopause. It's a choice. But when you feel that in menopause, you're like, you're just done, or you're about to have your baby, you're like, it is go time. Like, what that feels like if you've had that experience. And everybody does, and that's an experience that I haven't had. So touche, turtle, right? This is all good stuff. But yeah, it's just like it's now. Now is the time, not news. So I think it's just a fun thing I found this morning, you guys.
That's
really
a
fun.
good berry. That's a great berry. I freaking love that.
The nows.
Yeah,
the nows.
The nouses, you know. There's the nuisance. News is nuisance, but now is gnosis. You know, it's
news is a noose.
Yeah, and there's a whole Nostradamus would be Nostradamus who's opened his olfactory glands, right? So he's able to see through Hades.
They came back online.
And all, yeah. So he's Nostradamus. That's there's another one there.
There's a t-shirt there for certainly.
Yeah, we got a lot of t-shirts ideas.
Well, oh my gosh, we got to get a factory going. Well, this has been great. How do you think this is going, guys? How you like it out there in YouTube land or membership land or?
Well, let me just say,
going?
Yeah, I because I kept hitting the wrong button. The live stream is skipped like 4 or 5 times. So we've got 4 people watching on the members part. But they really had to work hard, I think, to watch because of how many times I hit reset. So.
Oh, well, bless them. Bless them. Thank you for letting us practice. And, this is such a great way to do this,
Yes, thanks,
James.
everybody.
Really fun.
Yeah.
Totally.
And we can keep going too. I'm just going to be driving, but I can stay online. I don't have to go. I just wanted to kind of check in and see how everybody's feeling about this. This is fun, especially right after a show.
Right on. Well, if as long as there's topics, I'll stay. But can
I ask a frivolous question?
Is that
Please
possible?
Do. Please.
So for instance, I have to go in like 15 to 20 minutes because I'm going to start my a new job at a cannabis dispensary here in Fort Collins. So what is your take on the cannabis industry? Like, what is your opinion on it?
Are you asking me my opinion?
Yes, your opinion.
So the industry, I think I feel insulted because people keep saying that it's legal in this state. And by legal, it means that if you have it in your passenger seat, then you can go to jail, and if you don't have papers, you can go to jail. And if you are not have a driver's license, when we ask you why you have this, then like all that, I'm like, okay, so why are we saying this is legal? And I could tell you a very snooty sort of liberty bent thing on this, but I could also tell you something that's happened to me recently, which is that James, cannabis is so consciously vibratory that we have laws to reflect it. That the reason why it's illegal and then it becomes legalized is because there's no way you can just make it ubiquitous. You can't just and sorry, I keep making the word ubiquitous. I'm going to honestly try and stop that. But it's like there's no way that it could just be like you could just go buy gum. It would be impossible to do that because consciousness would require that everything has a field that is honest. I didn't say it's not deceitful. Let me rephrase that is authentic to the element itself. So just as like gold will absorb light and only let certain things out, so too would cannabis absorb light and only emit a field that is dilating enough to where you'd have to be, oh my God, is anybody watching? Hey, is anybody watching? Hey, do you have this thing that looks like a cigarette but isn't really a cigarette, but it's got like a hole in it? And then like the top of it is like painted white and then the bottom of it is sort of painted kind of like gray, because I want people to judge me for being a fucking smoker. It's like I'm okay with people judging me for smoking a cigarette, but God forbid I'm caught taking a toke of some cannabis. So it's like this is part of the field. And you hating the law is you not understanding Osiris. I know that I'm preaching now. We just created the Church of Osiris again. I'm sorry I keep converting you, but this is just my vibe right now. But if you really honestly do this, then you now have to understand it's illegal because of me. Why did I make this illegal? And you didn't make it illegal. The blue lights are the lightning in the world, and you're only going to see so many those sprinkles. You're only going to find so much spice on the planet Dune. You have to call the worm. So to call the worm, you're going to need something very dilating that's going to rip through the sand. And that's going to be a police chase. It's going to be a fucking police chase. And it's going to be a dude who's like, holy fuck. And the cops are like, we're going to fucking get you. And the cops will always wait for the person to go first. There's never like a let's block him. It's always we will chase you. It's always a chase. It's never a block. It's always a chase.
Hear you.
You can't hear me? Anyway, this whole thing is broadcasted, is hallucinated out because you need something to accurately render the truth of the element that's there, which means cocaine is going to be like really illegal. Cocaine's going to have a stigma. I actually smell you. If you do cocaine, I'm like, I smell you. Get the fuck away from me. I'm going to use ridicule. I'm just telling you that that's just what I do. I don't think it's right. I'm just telling you that this is how powerful it is. I've never done it. I've never done it, and I'm already judging it. This shows you how powerful it is. There's nothing needs to be changed. This is a reflection of the sonar. This is what sonar looks like. You're not able to see the HUD clearly because you think the emotions are bad, and you're like, we gotta get rid. Open the window. And it's like, you need the window, man. Fart in the cockpit. Smell it. I know that you're like, this is not what I want to do. Do not do this literally and come back and complain. You got to learn how to listen to what I'm saying, all right? I mean, I'm just saying you got to do that. But it really does fit because it's not going to be, it's not necessarily palatable, right? This isn't supposed to taste, it's a good analogy, guys. It is. It fucking works because it really does show you exactly what's required. It's embarrassing because the ass crack is the thermometer. The ass crack, the way the ass crack feels points to the north of the threat. It shows you where the threat is of embarrassment, right? So you want the ass crack. You want the underarm pit. You want all those things to be there. Guys, what if this is why we look this way? I've picked on Lauren before so I can do this. She's a redhead. This is the only way that she could survive this world. It's the only way. She needs people to be like, we need to burn her. We got to burn her. She doesn't have a soul. She needs that in her everyday life. Guys, Renee is allergic to peanuts. Do you know how dilating that is? Everywhere Renee goes, there's a threat that she could fucking die if she eats a French fry that was cooked in the wrong oil. It's not an allergy. Do you know why I can't see far away? Because why the fuck would you want to fall for that trick? Why would you want to fall for the trick of distance? Yeah, distance. Yeah, I've met you before, okay? I think you're full of shit, all right? I've never met you. You're always there saying, oh, look at me, I'm over here. You're never fucking there. I get up to you, you're gone. So why would I need to look at you? I need to stay in the present, says me. I'm going to work all my calories on the clarity of the present. None of these are mistakes. All the awkwardness of your body, the parts that you're ashamed of, this is your radar, is your cockpit. I'm ashamed of my bald head is a strategic hole that's encouraging me to put witness into the confidence of being ashamed of how bald I am. Did you hear what I just said? That's it. What am I ashamed of the most is where you need to apply witness. Nature is asking you to apply witness to it because you feel shame. So none of this requires intellectual thinking. That's why I don't need to talk about it. I don't need to talk about it. But I'm going to anyway, because this is how you get there. If you just think about, open up yourself to how fun this is, because it's already happening anyway. None of this requires you to change anything. All you're doing is just noticing. And when you notice, you definitely relax more. I think this is really what modern was getting at. It's so important to relax because you're going to digest more. But some of you, to relax, you're going to have to have certain genetics that, quite frankly, separate you. Some of you are going to be African American. And now I'm a fucking token everywhere I go. Why am I token? Because it reminds me to be centered. It reminds me of Zuzu. It reminds me of a time where in Africa, everyone else that I called in Africa who was white was a ghost. That I would ridicule those people because they were showing themselves, because I was afraid of my own melanin. I would love to have this experience, the ability to absorb. It's like, none of this is, is an accident if you think about it as a giant prana economy. An economy means that every single person is in it for themselves and is getting exactly what they want, including the person that's begging on the street saying how unfair the system is and not receiving any benefit from it. The art of begging is showing you Osiris, isn't it? When you go past something that's begging, this is honestly the only opportunity you have to challenge your own self-worth. Because if the beggar is making you feel like shit, the beggar is actually showing you that you do not feel deserve. You think you have deserve. You think that you've mastered deserve. You've got a credit score. I've got deserve. I'm finished. And now the beggar shows you, do I really deserve this? Do I really deserve this? And there's no wrong action. But we live in a world that's going to demand that I tell you that you're supposed to stop and give this person $3.8. That's if you do that, this is the best way to handle it, says Consumer Reports. And that's never the answer. It's never the fucking answer. This is a part of your body inside of Osiris, an organ that's waiting for you to find it because it serves a function. And that function is to give you this parable so that you can practice. This is like sensei. It's like, oh, come here. Well, what are you going to do to me? Nothing. Just come here. What are you going to... Just come here. And then you get there and there's a dude begging. And he's got a puppy. And the puppy's begging. It's like, you're just like, oh, fuck, man. And this is big stuff. This is important. This is the prana economy expressing itself. And so if you're going to work on your self-worth a lot, you're going to look for parables and fables that train you, whether you like it or not. Your butt crack is going to lead you. Because if you run the opposite way of your butt crack, your uber consciousness just knows that, oh, he just has a front engine. That's all. This guy runs on I'm not that, right? This other guy runs on I'm that. This guy runs on I'm not that. So we just put the pilot seat on the front. Now he thinks he's going forward. Problem solved. Your consciousness does this. Your consciousness is a thing that does this. It doesn't have a way up, right? So it probably learned that what it thinks is backwards is right side to the other way, in which the first direction that it found, it learned that later on, if it flipped itself over, it would then notice that if it turned to the left, it would have an idea. This is identity. I just fucking told you what identity is. Every rotation is a separate quaternion, a separate rotation that's based on the last rotation. Guys, this is blockchain. This is Pythos. This is code. This is genetic memory, where your entire perspective of did that crow smoke a cigarette is a rotation of a rotation of a rotation of a rotation. And if you were to play that rotation of a rotation, if you were to play those codons, I think you would hallucinate a crow smoking a cigarette. And because you're good at hallucinating a crow smoking a cigarette, I swear to fuck, you would be in a park right now listening to this. And if you had enough pellets where you wanted to have a super intense explosive experience, that because you're listening to this right now and because you're in a park, the hallucination would come true, the quantum would complete itself, and a fucking crow would land and a cigarette would be there. And as I'm talking, the amount of time it takes for when I say it happened to when it actually happened, if you're already there and the crow's here and the cigarette's there and you're not sure, any kind of uneasiness that you have is an opportunity to get off the bus. You can get off the bus right now and say, oh, this is enough synchronicity. I can't take this anymore. This crystal's too fucking hot. And so then you hallucinate that the crow takes the cigarette right away, or that the cigarette wasn't there. Oh, that's better. That's better. But man, that crow, holy shit, I've really had me going. But thank God there wasn't a cigarette there. There wasn't a cigarette there. It was a bottle cap. Thank God it was a bottle cap. Thank God. And that none of us can face the fact that this is how Osiris works. There is a bottle cap there. There is a cigarette there. The only one that you know is the one that you remembered. That's the only one. They're both fucking there. But you collapse the wave. You collapse the quantum. You use the shore of time, which you count on, because frankly, you don't want that kind of responsibility. You've asked Kronos, can you please just sweep a giant paddle of ether in a circle so that I have to collapse every single particle before you hit it in order for me to save it? Right? That's what memory is. So you're watching the Kronos sweep by and you're like, oh my God, I have to choose between these 5 trillion molecules. Which ones do I want to remember? So you go to a certain place, you find a certain people, you're around the certain smells, you're talking to the right people, you're in the right Zoom room, you're on the right topic, you're in the right day, you're off work, you're on the right forklift, all these things. And oh my God, there's a crow. James, there's a crow. I'm 5 minutes away. Right now you just saw a crow. And you're like, James, I just saw a crow. And the factor that you're off is your comfort with the crystals of synchronicity. Am I right? Seriously. That could be a better way of understanding what reality is. Conscious quantum collapsing itself based on your comfort. This is flow state. This is being on tour. I fucking love this band. I found this band. My friend took me, never heard of them. I found this band. Oh, the people are so fucking right. They're so lit. They're so vibe. I want to be this band. I want to be this vibe. I want to be this. They're going to Toronto. I'm going to Toronto. Do I have a passport? I'm going to Toronto. I don't know why. I'm quitting my job. You have entered. You've entered into that higher consciousness. I swear you have. A lot of us don't feel we deserve it, so we have to do drugs. Let me rephrase that. A lot of us don't feel we deserve it, so we do drugs. And we do drugs because it's like, okay, now I can really deserve this. And so these things have their purpose. Cannabis has its purpose. I just realized this is the longest answer to what do I think about the cannabis industry. Holy shit, this is a long answer. I'm so sorry. Fuck, this is a long answer. This is what I think of the cannabis industry, is that it is the crystalled truth. All these things are. Fentanyl is the latest fashion of conscious sparks. And there's only so many blue lights in our world, which means there's only so many opportunities for those sparks to go off. Do you understand what I mean? There's only so many opportunities where we can have a place inside this liquid that is so volatile that sparks erupt, that blue sparks erupt. And that would be the police chase. And the reason why on YouTube 12 million people watch that police chase is precisely because you're inside Osiris. It's a conscious terrain. I'm talking about a conscious terrain. So all the witness is the only land shape that you know is actually real. I swear to you, it's the only shape of the terrain that you know is real, because all we know is that God would be consciousness. It would be the only way that we could fit ourselves through the holes of the pixels on the screen. Leave the conveyor of the full bridge rectifier, exit out of the power cord into the DC converter box, travel through the AC current, somehow slipping back and forth until we reach the wall outlet, popping ourselves out of the fucking wall outlet somehow into the electricity of the air to look at the person that's playing the game of you. It's there, but it's consciousness. We gotta go towards that. And we're gonna need a lot of cannabis for that. We're gonna need a buttload of cannabis for that, because our cannabinoid receptors are keys, as you know, and we need ghosts in the machine that we can program and demonicate. And cannabis is she's such a jealous lover that she only could be popular when we slipped out of fertility, when we could have a poly relationship with an herb. It breaks up a lot of couples, I think, cannabis does, because of this. you find you're missing. So like if you think about it like the 8 glands and you are 7, I like to think that cannabis is sort of just is able to help you holographically replace that, which means you feel more complete. But this is what love does. This is what our partners traditionally did. That we would marry and we would feel complete because we could borrow their ovaries. We are twins inside of twins. Your testicles are twins. Her ovaries are twins. And when you understand what DNA is, you're a twin within a twin. So you're constantly looking for your twin. You know, the egg and the sperm are the only ones that are just missing DNA. They're missing half. So this is the tip of the spear that shows you the truth of how all attraction works. If you can satisfy, I don't mean satisfy like quelch it, but if you can stop looking at what you're attracted to as I am missing something, you start to hit into a 5G kind of love. You start to, the traditional framework of what a relationship looks like is able to transmogrify, honestly. It's able to come in something else because you're no longer in a trying to think of what the word is. It's not symbiotic, but there's a parasitic relationship if you feel that you're missing something and that subconsciously your partner has it. Can you see what I mean? It's okay. I love parasitic relationships. I love it. But I don't mean but. Sorry, I just betrayed myself because I struggle with this. I want us to rethink what parasitic relationship means. If you feel whole, you're not going to be able to connect to the same, your first love, you're not going to be in love with. Your first love, you connected to because you didn't feel whole. It's okay. And when he's like, I did, it's like, well, good for you, man. Way to go. And seriously, hats off to you. But hopefully you felt a hole. And when you felt the hole, you were like, I'm going to go look for a hole. And some of you are like, I'm looking for a stick to put in the hole. And this is, you're poking around because you're looking for the 8th gland. So that's going to be the natural attraction that brings you together. And this is a fine love. You know, I've talked about 1G love is the baby loves his slave. The baby has no choice. If the baby doesn't love, the baby dies. So the baby loves because you feed me. How could you not love that? It's the easiest way to love. So you learn love. The second G love is, this is my brother. This is my sister. It's not me, but it's me. It's we're on this different kind of relationship. I'm sorry, that might even be second love. But then third G love is like I love as a parent loves, as a mother loves a child. I'm always giving. Baby's biting my nipples. It hurts. It's painful. I'm paying for their college. They're saying they hate me. They don't want me to drop them off at school because I embarrassed them. It's a lot higher love. But then after you start to leave the levels of family, this is fertility. So fertility has been training you to think in terms of how to grow love on a less, not selfish in a bad word, but in a less self-centered way. Your consciousness is just simply able to associate really just in your house. From your person to your family to your house to your car, these are mecha suits of this association, but to your community, and your community is your species, and your species would go to God, which I would just call 5G love, just to pick a number. But it's like it's this love for something. God loves nature even when it's tearing its throat out, even when the most horrible, tragic things are happening. How can God love this place? And the answer is because he has more capacitance than you do. And you only have a certain amount of capacitance for serendipity. If you're going to find God, you're going to notice that it's going to be a crow smoking the cigarette no matter what. Every time you think of something, it happens. And this is a lot. And it's just like, shut it off. You can't shut it off. And you're watching the collapse of civilizations because you didn't have the right mudra. You weren't in the right posture. This is why Osiris forgets you. The omniscience is too much. And we are showcasing that because we're gaining more and more omniscience. We're able to handle more and more fame, right? We have people that are able to handle more and more fame. We used to say this just for Hollywood, but hey, look at me, I'm famous. James True is a thing. I'm famous. I'm not supposed to be famous. You guys are famous right now. It's a smaller version of fame if you count the number of people that are witnessing, but you can't really count the consciousness. So it could be a greater number of fame because honestly, Amel's in the house. This is some deep fucking witness right now. So it's just like, you know, you can't even really associate it. So much of the fame is superficial. So much of the fame is out to get you, to stab you in the back. They're going to bring you steaks and say, I marinate these for you. You're not going to know. You're learning the whole time. So the consciousness is, there's your terrain. There's your texture. Everything that feels staccato is just the Rocky Mountains of this place. Everything that feels mundane is something that's barren. It's real, but it's barren. It's barren to witness. So this is the Osiris body. A long answer.
That was a long answer, James. I really appreciated the ride. Yeah, it's the Rockies. It's the jagged, the newer compared to like where you are, where the mountains are smooth. Brad, do you want to say something? You're unmuted.
Oh yeah, I was just adding the terms of I had to step out for a minute, so I'm not even sure what the initial question was, but I love the long answer. But I was just going to speak about I left right after the Barry's talk, and related to all this, you talking about fame and witness and like that, and I was just tying it back to the idea, the superficial nature of it, that makes a huge difference to me personally. For example, the idea of fame, as an example, in the way of people who really don't know anything, know you at all, you know what I'm saying? But it's just that, like you were mentioning earlier today, the fact that you're on TV, people will act a certain way towards you, right, James?
Yeah.
That kind of witness, if you will, feeling inauthentic. And I'll tie this back to, like I said earlier, about the idea of poverty, because like it's called, what's your name, man? I'm still not good with all the names. Nate. Who's that? Anyway, what you were talking about with wealth and things like that. That one of the reasons that I was I initially tried to make monetary gains and all this kind of, I found very quickly that I don't like a lot of I value a lot of stuff, just trivial things. So I guess I'm just tying it back to the wealth to me is in the authenticity and the quality of the witness, like you're talking about there. That's where I would want. That's where I'm wealth that I'm interested in pursuing, if that makes sense. It's like you talk about Musk being miserable, and I know a lot of people who are very well off who are miserable, and so it's that kind of thing of I think sometimes I conflate things, and I think definitions, because I think ego and God and all these things can be defined so many different ways. And so it's one of those things where it's like maybe I categorically turned off wealth vis-a-vis money because I saw that's not getting me what I really want. Because what I respond to, and you I'm not Nate, right? So what? I'll catch it later, but just that's it. That's what I respond to, is what I guess you could say dilates, or the crow with the cigarette. But that's what pulls me forward. And the idea of just, like I said, whether it be fame or money, and acquiring it just in the sense of like, it doesn't hold value for me unless there's authenticity within it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It does.
You got something, Modern? Go ahead if you do.
I was going to say that makes sense and everything. I guess my whole point behind it is, if we're not pursuing and we're not chasing, are we freeing ourselves from the burden of the pursuit and of the chase? And is that in and of itself the salvation itself? And are we, by continuing to do that chase, to maintain that burden and everything, are we in turn trying to find our own divinity, our own place amongst the divine? Like not become part of the divine, but become like a sibling, like a peer, like another god, is I guess my thought on this. Is that what we're chasing, and that's why it's so painful to have that growth?
I got something on that, which is that I don't think that our understanding, I think it's flawed. Not your flawed, but I think the idea that in culture has that God is a mortalitus type being throws us off, because I think that God would look more, because God would be a more of an eternal or a longer lasting being. They're going to have they're going to be highly schizophrenic compared to us. They're not. There's no relational ability because their mortality is so different. So it almost feels like a misnomer, because if you look at the conscious abilities that we actually have a lot more power than God. We have a much deeper hallucination than we could even think to attribute to the hypothetical God, because the hypothetical God would be one which is eternal for all of us, which means that it gets harder for it to change. You could say that it always changes, but even the fact that something is always changing is a kind of duty, a pomp and circumstance, a ceremony that now the God has to always do to perform. And when you give it completeness and monadness and oneness, you really rip away its freedom. All of its wings are ripped off, because it doesn't really have anything else to do, because it is perfection itself. So there's no striving because it's reached. There's no hoping because all things are fulfilled. This is a different thing than what you and I feel. We are God compressed in a finitude of time. And because we have a finitude here, we are given a special ability to speedball life in a very short time. And this gives us limbic compression, which allows us to feel much deeper than I think God ever really could. I'm talking about this archetypal God, because what is the body? If this God, it's hard for me to imagine this God having a single consciousness, because if it did, it would ruin itself. It would destroy what it is now. The fact that we can hide from each other is a feature of God, but it's only expressed through our bronchial, like each of our separate consciousnesses. So it feels like this is exactly what God feels like. It feels like that this is God. That this is it, man. There's not a monad outside of this place. If you're looking for outside, it will be through transcendence in this space, which I think is connecting to the consciousness that you see around you. But you'll notice that you already have that. It's just that it's so mundane, and society doesn't really thrive on talking about it so much. But when you hear my voice, you are building an image and a cosmos of what I look like. You're building a world in your mind as you listen, and this is the power of God. You are able to do what we fear, what it would fear if we were in pure serendipity. We're able to do, but we're able to make mistakes because we have this beautiful quantum drag or lag. This quantum lag gives us the ability to not get in too much trouble, to not have too much. We can kind of pick and choose how comfortable we are, how much we're open, how much our throttle is open. So really we are God. We're just hiding. We're just hiding from ourselves, and that's okay. We have to express everybody, which means that there's an element in the body of Osiris that every single cell knows, and it's called Donald Trump, and it's orange, and it's got really specific receptors. It's constantly throwing boomerangs. It's throwing these codon boomerangs out of its window called Trump, and they're bright orange and they're electric, and we really like them. We really like them, even when we say we hate them. We really like them because all of us know what Donald Trump is. So that's a specific element inside you. It could be hallucinated. The whole thing could be a ghost in the machine because you know how your body works, but it's still in your body. So why are we even trying to say, well, which ones are the ghosts and which ones aren't? It's like, bitch, why are you even getting lost in that? Why are you even like trying to separate? What's wrong with a ghost? A ghost's going to fuck you up just as much as one that isn't. It's the same thing. You're the one making the ghosts. So why are you trying to be all pure, insisting you don't lie? Bitch, you gotta lie. You gotta make it across the water. You're gonna tell yourself I can make it. You're gonna lie. So we are the ghost. So really, we have more power than God. We're not suffering the limitation of omniscience. This is some deep magic. So deep that we would need dark matter to be rendered around us all the time. And we would need people in our society to say dark matter doesn't exist. It's a conspiracy by NASA. Just like we need a bunch of scientists to go, dude, there's fucking dark matter. We don't know what the fuck it is, but this place is a lot heavier than it should be. And both those things are true because inside your body is a chemical equation, and some things are more comfortable, some things are not. Some guys are okay with it being objective, some guys are not. Some guys are okay with it not being objective. Other people really have a problem with that. That's called a chemical equation. That's a prana economy. So I don't think you're going to avoid it. I don't mind hearing the philosophical questions, but I also hear that it's really impossible to not do the great work. There's just, even if you snuff yourself out, turns out that was in the algorithm too. Turns out you can do that. It's like, oh, yep, you're going to snuff yourself out, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn a lot. Everyone's going to talk shit about you. You're going to hear people talking shit about you. Oh, he was so selfish because he killed himself. And it's just like, and then you look at the other guy and you're like, you just said your friend was selfish for killing, and like your mind's blown because you're just like, what did you just say? You just said that person was selfish for taking their own life, and your mind's blown. They didn't say anything wrong. They blew your mind because that's where the spark is. Why the spark happened? Because this guy killed himself. You're going to need sparks. You're going to need a bunch of sparks. They're going to have to show up somewhere on the screen, right? So you're going to hallucinate how they look. That's going to be based on your comfort level and, quite frankly, your appetite. This is why I think we develop our allergies. We develop these things because we're like, look, I want to experience as much of the world as I can, but I also have a diet. I can't have too much salt. So we tell ourselves our dreams are real. We do a tarot every morning. We read into people and they hear things that no one else in the room will ever be able to confirm or deny. And it's 30 years later and you're still hallucinating for everyone else in the room. No one has ever checked your work. Not once. And you're still out here hallucinating what other people are thinking? This is amazing. This is, how have you made it this long? Why are you even still using your compassion? Because not once has anyone thoroughly checked your work and say you have permission to do this. You've been doing it the whole time. Fuck, man. That's the biggest God. Anyway, you get it.
Yeah, I think I'll speak for me that kind of getting to that place definitely well, I can talk about relaxing, just taking it easier, but trusting in Gaia. You talk about things like that. It's like, yeah, it can be fun, I think, to kick around and what's going on in the world and judging in context of what's positive or negative. But yeah, once you kind of do get to that point, it in other words, all that weight that people like to put on their shoulders of what they feel like they should or shouldn't do in the world to get it to whatever place they think it should go, that it's already going there.
Mm-hmm. When you see
anyway,
when you see a car going down the street and it's like a beat up Toyota Corolla, so it's not really that impressive as a car itself, but it's got like all the right stickers. There's like a Bigfoot sticker. There's like a cannabis leaf. There's like a suspected freedom advocate bumper sticker. And in the back window, there's just really thick fur. Everything is just teeming with smiles. And as you're passing that car dilates you in a different way. There's another cell. That other cell has a nucleus, and that nucleus has climbed into a mecha suit, and that mecha suit is a Volkswagen Bug, and they've applied these, I mean, a Toyota Corolla, and they've applied all these stickers because their ion channels have invitations. They have free little welcome signs on them because they're so open. Their ion channel is so open that it advertises. And when your ion channel goes by, it gets sucked into the advertisement if you are not discerning what you're looking out for. So your witness ends up being sucked into reading their bumper stickers. And if you feel, oh, I really can relate to that, or, oh, this fucking hippie's driving too slow, you are feeding the same thing. You are feeding witness into the ion channel. One is a clockwise feed, the other is a counterclockwise feed, but you are pouring your sand into the ion channel because that ion channel is advertising. It is asking for a pranic economy with you as you drive by. It says, hey, could you give me more attention than just the fact that I'm a Toyota Corolla? The consciousness of that person creates those stickers. They don't need to be applied. That person bought that car used. It already had the Bigfoot sticker there. They backed into a parking lot that the other sticker covers a scar. These things are automatic. The ion channels are automatic, not because the illusion is perfect. It's because the hallucination is well done. Your hallucination is accurate. You're hallucinating a chemical equation in real time. And every single clue that you see, every single vibe you get is informing you of that. So when you look for something distasteful, when you look at something distasteful, understand you were looking for something distasteful. It's okay. These are fetishes on purpose. You have a fetish until you witness it. People hate that I say this about drugs because they're like, I tried AA, I know this sucks. I know. What the fuck do I know? What the fuck do I know? But if you lean in and you give yourself permission, that's how you push the hook in. You push the hook deeper into your skin, and then you pull it out. Because you've probably never given yourself permission to have a victory lap. You've never given yourself the permission to have an appetite for consciousness. Drugs give you an appetite for consciousness. I'm going to poison myself with psilocybin. It really is poison. I'm going to asphyxiate myself because it's going to choke me in such a way that the DMT is going to start to flow. This is an arrangement. You found a doula, said, hey, I want to climb in the box, but I want you to open the box only after I sort of stop kicking, but don't wait too long. This is an arrangement. You're John the Baptist. These are arrangements that we have with each other, and some of them involve, hey, I need you to flip me off because I'm going to swerve in your lane, and I need permission to eat your ion channels because I don't feel that I deserve your witness, so I'm going to be using a cell phone the whole time. I'm going to use a cell phone. I'm going to consciously swerve into your lane. And because I have the cell phone and I'm looking at the cell phone, I have the excuse to eat your witness even though I don't deserve it. And the other one's like, well, I deserve it because man, look at this. I got a Bigfoot and a slice of pizza. What do those mean? What do those mean? Why is there a slice of pizza and a Bigfoot sticker on the back of the car? Oh, you're wondering, who am I? What is this person about? I have to look at this person when I go by. Who would have a pizza sticker next to a Bigfoot sticker? What is going on here? And it's working. Drink, child, drink. And these are low level, hey, do I deserve more? And the environment is low level saying, yeah, you can have this. You can have this witness. I could look at the ridge. They've cut the fucking rocks through this ridge. For this highway to go through this ridge, look at how they cut like 6 stories of solid rock. And you know what? Fuck that. I'm not going to give those guys praise. You've got a piece of pizza stuck next to a Bigfoot sticker. I'm giving you all the witness. You are getting it all today. Fuck the people that cut the rock. Meanwhile, John Henry's out there. He's like, what am I, fucking chopped liver? What the fuck, guys? We fucking cut this mountain open and you're giving the witness to Mr. Bigfoot pizza slice here? This is the hallucination. It has to work this way. It has to be this changing, this volatile, you know? It's all psychochemical. It's probably the best way of looking at it. I can't show myself, and I'm not gonna lie, I fucking love it. I can just focus on my voice. I'm sorry that you guys can't see me. I just want you to know that I can't show myself, because then it would, you might have seen I tried at the beginning, but it just causes this endless mirror the way this is streamed. So I just wanted to
James,
mention that
your voice goes a long way. You've had a lot of practice, and we can probably see you in our mind's eye what you're doing. But who knows? You could be like sitting in your wide pants with your legs out. Who knows what you're doing? But it's lovely just to hear your voice. And I agree, it's kind of a different edge just to ride with the voice. But seeing y'all is so fun.
Yeah, I love seeing
great
you guys.
seeing
Yeah,
you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great to see all you guys. So it's a very
I'm in the
one
car.
way.
I've been driving around, so I've like made errands. I'm now in the parking lot of Trader Joe's. Look at this technology, you guys. This is amazing.
Right on.
So fun to be here. Yeah. What a great first run, James. After that show, I think we've had a really great. Hey, Zerla, we've had a really great turnout and a really great first run. What do you think, guys? This was a blast.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me test that out. Appreciate it.
This is pretty fantastic.
Isn't it fantastic? Yeah, we want more of this. So, wow, 369 is coming up. I know we have some people in the group right here that are coming, and so excited. And it's like a hallucination is kind of like a hula hoopsination. So if we start doing a little hooping, we might do some holla.
Oh,
so
that's
yeah,
great.
369 roller skating, and we're gonna have some fun coffee and stretching, and James is going to present. That's going to be super fun, and we'll see if we can share it with people in Patreon as well. I'm not sure, but it's great to have your support. All this way.
Now you promised hula hoops.
I have been making hula hoops. I'm going to deliver, Brad. I am delivering the hoopla. Okay, James, what do you think? You want to call it?
Yeah, it's a great way to. Yeah, thank you so much. Appreciate it, Renee.
Okay, great, everybody. Thanks again.
Yeah, let's unmute. Yeah,
unmute, all the good stuff.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Great to see
Take
everybody.
care, everybody.
Wait, Lisa, you're muted. I want to hear your voice, Lisa. You got to unmute.
Have a good day.
Later, y'all.
Bye, guys.
Bye.